Hey guys, Bloody Vintage here. I got a 1979 Timex automatic watch that I'm going to be looking at here and trying to fix. If you ever want to try and date these, right at the bottom here, you'll see the last two digits. If I can zoom in on that properly, will be 79, if you can see that. That's how you date usually the older Timexes. The newer ones on the back, there'll be a 2-digit code, like an AE or a YA. Google that, and it'll tell you if you search Timex date codes. Anyways, so this thing kind of runs. It's an automatic, so when there's movement, it's supposed to start ticking. Doesn't really. So I'm gonna follow a tip I found online, and I'm going to try and soak the movement in paint thinner and see how that goes. So first thing you'll want to probably do, if you're doing this yourself, is you want to go on Amazon, get a little watch repair kit. This will have all the pieces you're looking for, and I'm gonna run you through them. Okay, first piece, it's my favorite, is what you're gonna use. Sorry, this end. This is what you're gonna use to get the band off. And again, technically we don't really even need to get the band off for this, but it'll just be easier to work on in general. So basically you just take this, insert it in between, you're gonna try and grab that spring, and you're gonna try and pop it off. And don't rip your leather here. But it should happen pretty easy. You see the spring just came out, and you just wanna grab it above that neck. And it comes out, keep it in there, don't lose that. Most of these kits do come with extras. So not a big deal, and sometimes they're already worn out, so not a big deal to replace them. Okay, now I'm gonna take the other one out. And there you go, that one's out too. Now we have this. Now, I don't really need to lock it in, but I'm going to be safe. So the kit comes with this little tool. I'm just gonna secure it. This is more just makes it easier to work on, in my opinion. Otherwise your watch face is sitting on something, you're gonna scratch it, whatever. Next tool you'll want is this handy dandy little guy, and this pulls off the cover. Most will have an arrow to where the cover pull is. On this one, you're gonna look around until you find it. I forget where it is on this one, but I'm gonna find it in 2 seconds. Okay, it's down here. I can tell I see that little tiny lip. You can see that lip and opening. So you're gonna get that, you're gonna get under, and you're gonna pull it, and I've already had this off, so it's gonna be fairly easy. So kind of interesting, let's see if anything, this is one from Great Britain, which is interesting. I'm in Canada, so I guess it's not shocking that maybe we'd have that one. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at removing this movement. I've obviously not done this one. I'm definitely an amateur. All I know is that there's usually a release for this. As soon as you get the winding knob out, you'll be fine. And I just want to show you too that, you just want to check if the movement's even free and worth working with. So you can see it will start to move. And even if it does stop, if I shake it around a little bit, it sometimes will start to go a little bit, and it'll move a few seconds at a time. But this is obviously not going. So judging by this, I don't know 100%, but I want to say either here, this little thing, or here will probably be what gets your winding knob out. So I'm going to try first. This one seems plausible. So sometimes there's usually a tiny little press button on a lot of the vintage ones. You just press and it just pulls out. This one's a little bit more complex. I may remove this screw and see what happens there, because this is all riveted in otherwise. So let's remove that screw and see what happens. And again, anything could happen in these when you're doing this. So always just have your eyes open and be on a clearing table, because if if a screw or a spring goes flying, you don't have to go looking for it. And I'm not going to force that. I don't want to strip that. So make sure you find the right screwdriver for the job. And that comes out nice and easy now that I found the right screwdriver. And again, these are also in that kit. So I'm gonna pull that out and see what that does. And this is why it's good to have that kit, because no screwdriver you have, unless you have an eyeglass repair kit, will fix that. So I see it's released this now, that little arm. So that's why it's good to take pictures and a video to see where that arm was and what it was doing and the positioning of it, because if that fell right out onto the table, I'd have no idea exactly where that goes. So let's pick that up. So I'm gonna take the screw out first. I'm gonna put that in a safe spot, because again, this is why you wanna work with a clear surface. I'm gonna take this out, and I don't know 100%, but I think this is what's gonna hold in our winding knob, and it is. So that has now come out. Great. Now this is good and bad. In my experience, as soon as you take out the winding knob, and again, I'm probably using terrible nomenclature here, but again, I'm not an expert. My experience is once you've removed it, when you put it back in, it'll just never go in the same again. And now it won't even let me adjust the time. So I'm still going to, you know, so again, that's the downside. Now it won't even do anything. But yeah, I'm still gonna keep going and see if that helps fix it. So I'm gonna take that out. Because again, this didn't move anyways. So if I do damage it, it's a cheap Timex, it's not the end of the world. So out of just general curiosity, I'm just gonna look here and how this would come out. And it's interesting to note that the movement may be able to come out here just if I lift these little tabs. Not gonna lie, there are certain Timexes where you actually have to remove the glass with a special tool that sometimes breaks the bezel and even the glass. So Timex are really not meant to be serviced. They're meant to be a one and done kind of throwaway. That's why a lot of them just don't work. I'm still gonna lift the tabs and see if we can get something going here. And see, and again, this is my impromptu. And technically I'd soak the whole watch, I guess. I don't even know how to take this out, the movement out, but I'm gonna do it anyways. It's interesting to see the movement trying to move as this goes. So as this is being pressed, my movement is now working, which is interesting. So it goes to show that there is seizing and there will work. So that is promising. Okay. Gonna move that tab, gonna move that tab, and this will be the moment of truth if this comes out or if it's gonna be a huge waste of my time. Around here, go around here. This tab is not fully out and up. Not overly promising that this is going to come out in one way, shape, or form. It seems like if I forced it enough, it may go. That's really interesting that it starts to work once I put pressure down, which is super satisfying. And this may be as good as the watch gets. What I will do though, so this doesn't want to come out. I'm not going to force it. And I think what I may do is I may just turn this upside down and soak it just so along the bottom in paint thinner that's supposed to remove any buildup. And that way you're at least not damaging the watch face, which I'm not sure if paint thinner will damage the actual face. If it does, lesson learned. But again, with these old Timex watches that aren't meant to be fixed, is it something where, you know, do you want it aesthetically working or not working at all? I'm just gonna try this once more, just out of curiosity of how to get this out of that bezel. And it kind of looks stuck in. This one's a solid piece. And again, I'm just trying to grab this from anywhere to see if it'll come with me. And I'm going to kind of look around the edges to see if there's anywhere else to get this off. Now, there are super small screw holes here, which is interesting. So that's on a mount. But I am just going to put it in very shallow paint thinner and hope that works. So stand by. So just an update, I filled this tub with a little bit of paint thinner. I have the watch in there. It's not fully submerged, but it's up to the edge. So the backing and the mechanisms should be soaking. So I'm gonna leave that for a little bit and see how we go. All right, guys, so taking the watch out, and you can see there's a little bit of debris in there. So something did come out, so let's give it a try. And this is why you keep your ears open when something drops. Because that, I heard drop on the floor. And somehow lost grip after a trillion attempts to get it back in. Stay still, listen to it drop. That way you're not totally screwed. Luckily I found it. So I got everything back together. Basically all that really is changed is it's a little bit smoother than before. You can adjust the time and the date goes along with it after. Still not much moving back here. It's doing the same thing as before. It took me a really long time to get that screw in. This one, just to get it straightened up. And when I push this, it still ticks a little bit, and that's about it. So it is what it is. While I have this here, I'm just curious what it says. Unadjusted, made in Taiwan. Well, there you go.